up in this series. They stole away FNATIC's map pick 16-14. Now we head to Overpass. This used to be a bread and butter map of Alex's FNATIC.
Yes.
How is this new look squad going to fare on it?
Well, I'm sure Mezzi, as the caller, will look to try and dish out some of that, but dishing out kills on the side of FNATIC. Roy had the top performance for this side earlier today on Overpass. FNATIC did very well on the CT side. As Golden was mentioning, they get to start on the CT side this time around, rather than the T side, which they started on earlier, which really didn't go so well for them. Stown and Shush down into the 2 versus 5. FNATIC off to an absolute flyer with the kills.
Yeah, I don't think Heroic were necessarily ready for this, right? Like, the first half Mirage was kind of super tapered from FNATIC. They looked a little scared. They were playing a little scared. Whereas, you know, after getting the full 30 rounds, I bet that has kind of dished a bit of confidence out. And they come into this pistol fighting.
Send the smoke on into the site. It's going to be the Hail Mary play really here for Heroic. Forrest, even under so much pressure, even after getting gooshed up, still able to stand tall for the kill. And they put Stown alone into the 1 versus 5. He'll start to drop back, hearing the steps, I'm sure, starting to consider the connector. Back, takes down Nikodos. So it won't be the clean sheet for FNATIC, but very much will be their pistol round in just a moment. Stown starts to walk forward, likely to his death in just a moment. Flank coming around from the backside of the toilets as well. Stown walking right into Roy, and he'll collect himself the 2nd kill of the 1st round.
I gotta say, there's some really nice little details that my eyes appreciate in the server, and that's the cool little branded Pinnacle like outfits.
Oh yeah, they're cool.
And also the fact that they like redid the signpost that you line up smokes with.
And here on Graffiti, they've actually graffitied the wall in Pinnacle as well.
Oh wow. Yeah, look, it's all like super cool. It's really tight. Oh, there's one here as well.
Yeah.
Like you never know, you never forget what you're watching.
Yeah, that's
true.
I'll
say that.
Subliminal messaging on point for sure. But right now, we're not going to forget that FNATIC have won the 1st round likely, because we did see a ridiculous. I can't believe it, but that last game came down to 1 round. To overtime, and Heroic won a full USP round in that game, Harry.
Yeah, right. So, like within that context, if you just won that 1 round to USPs,
it's overtime.
You could be an OT right now.
And you could have won the map. But Heroic should not be doing that with Glocks and P250s. Now, this should very much be a FNATIC round, but they want to try and keep it clean. They want to try and keep as many players on the board as possible here for FNATIC to get things kicking.
Yeah, you know, I got to say, man, I hope that FNATIC can keep up this performance.
Yeah, this level's nice.
You can't help but be romanced by the story of this team as well. Like, you know, the desk were talking about it, especially like, you know, whenever you think FNATIC, it's kind of sad because, you know, your brain goes to like the glory days. You know, I'm talking, you know, your Olofs, your Flushes, your JWs. Maybe it even goes further back than that, and you know you're thinking of your Forests and whatnot. Yeah, but yeah, in recent times, you know, it has kind of been a darker chapter in the FNATIC storyline.
Yeah,
and the thing that's so cool about this team is like not only do you kind of have a lot of pieces that feel like on paper they should work together. Right, I think this is the best looking FNATIC squad on names alone that we've had in a good while. And on top of that, it's like, for the individuals in this team, it's super cool. You got like Mezzi as like this breakout British star that shows that he's willing to do whatever it takes to find success for his team. You've got Crims, who has been tied to this org for so long now throughout so many iterations of squads, and he's always been a big performer. Then in terms of like the new bloods, you know, you've got the Danes coming over from the Copenhagen Flames squad, who, you know, you've got some really, really, like, flashy pieces in there. And then you've got Forrest right now as the 5th to, like, tie it all together as this grizzled, seasoned vet, you know, up there alongside your Crimses. It's super cool. It's very easy to get behind this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really interested to see, you know, how Mezzi is going to continue to call for this team. Obviously, has spent most of his top-level career with Alex. Overpass likely to be a staple due to that. Heroic, good start in their gun round finally with the rifles out. They're picking up the first. But problem is here for Heroic, not that, but they do have 2 smokes available. That's all the utility they have left at the minute mark. But they have got 2 kills. That puts them into a significant advantage in terms of that, at least.
Yeah,
no util for FNATIC either.
Yeah, they often don't really mind like playing within the confines of having very little utility. You do see times where it comes back to haunt them, but this isn't like too out of the realm of normality for Heroic. You know, they've gone for like a slow first rifle round where they've bled kills out, they've bled utility out, and now with these 2 smokes, they're going to put together a bit of an offensive here. They don't have flashes. You would love some flashes to try and get people off of angles, but none of that today. Instead, they've just got to win these entries dry. Crims playing in tandem with Nikados. They're going to play off the back of one another, but Testes is there, taking heads off, leaving it all on Forest. MP5 and a dream.
Big dream. Likely a nightmare. He looks to be slipping away. Don't think he's going to be getting anywhere close to the competition here. But FNATIC, you have to remember, this was a bit of a bonus round, but you got to feel when those 2 picks come in towards the end of the round on the site, just before Testes gets the double, you feel like there's an opportunity potentially to win the round in the end. Heroic come out swinging. They find the 2 early picks. Just the advantages you find there put you in such a significant lead. It's really hard for FNATIC to recover that, and maybe a better weapon here on the ground for Forest. Going to wait to the final seconds and then snatch that off the bench and slip away with an A1S. Go towards it. Nice little steal there for Forest, and stolen away is Forest. Gone. Dead. Smacked.
Dude, that's always the saddest. Like, you don't even attempt to win the round. You're just playing a saver gun.
Yeah.
You know, like, the highlight of the round was maybe I get out with an A1S, and there was never a chance to win.
You got the A1S, and then you're like, yeah, dead. Second later. But that's the double from Testes that really hammers the final nails into the coffin of FNATIC in that round. But look at that. You really wanted that A1S because you've got MP9s on 3 players here for FNATIC. And look at the setup. It's aggressive. 2 down long, 2 down middle. Messi already inside the connector. They're trying to get close and personal with these SMGs. Connector control being taken for Heroic, but it's Roy. He's pushed all the way through the playground. Testes waiting for it, gets the information. And Roy won't be getting behind him. It's instead Messi, who swings out, does damage, and forces Shush to kill his own teammate. But Testes is tracking Roy, realizes he's in the... Early in the time, he looks away.
Yeah, bro, he realized, didn't he?
Yeah, Testes...
You had to say it. Look, man, it's like, he knows. Oh, no, he didn't know.
But he's seen him, dude.
I know.
You just thought Roy ran away, I guess.
Roy is very mobile. It's hard to predict his movements. He's like an arachnid.
Do you love arachnids? Spiders are my best friend.
Ugh.
Scorpions. Everything.
Well, all 8 legs for FNATIC here have to get moving. They do lose a couple, but it's Nikados thinning the herd of Heroic and leaving it all on Cadian with nothing to do in a 1v3. He's very far removed from this round. I don't think he wants to give it a go.
No, he's saving this one. You know who Hugo told me his favorite Harry Potter character was today?
Go on.
The giant spider in the forest.
Oh, yeah?
Like, that's just a Hugo thing right there. You know, all the characters in Harry Potter you got, he picks, I think it's like Sheba or something, right?
Shelob, baby.
Shelob,
or is that Lord of the Rings? I think that's Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings spider, I think. I don't know.
Let me have a look here. I'm going to Google Shelob.
Spider, anyway. But that just really...
Yeah, Shelob's Lord of the Rings.
All right, okay. That spider is a lot more interesting.
What's his name? Like Stephen or something?
Stephen the Big Spider.
Aragog.
Aragog,
Kind of like Aragorn.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
the Lincoln. God, I hate having looked up spiders on my phone. I'm so arachnophobic. I can't even touch my phone if there's like a spider picture on it.
Hugo was telling the world about how he saves you from spider attacks.
I mean, that's just unequivocally not true.
Well, Hugo told the world. Harry said it's wrong. Choose you want to believe. AK for Cadian. He saved it. He's got a heroic AK, and he's dead. He's out of there. Crim's off to a flyer, and FNATIC have the advantage.
All right, refresh. Not one to want to give that AK away. He runs the gauntlet to go and grab it out through Monster. Kind of ballsy, but now he's got the rifle to play around with. Oh, a nice little boost up, right? Throw that in the mid-round. Get a kill out of it. You feel like it's a real blessing that you weren't being held there. They're doing it again. They're boosting a second time. Hello. Mezzy. Mezzy. Come on now. This is mean. Don't do 2 boosts in 1 round. Heroic were holding for it. They did spot him getting up on the boost. Roy has come down through Con, and this is all facilitated on the back of the mid info that's been gained by FNATIC. They have fully pushed through mid. So they know at this point that everyone is over towards this B site. They're just kind of restricting them. Look at the minimap. You are trapped in a FNATIC branded cage. Those are dropping soon.
FNATIC running a illegal fight camp in the sewers in Germany, apparently, but it's all cleaned up. The kills are there. And 5 picked up, no problem for FNATIC. They keep it flawless, they keep everybody up, and that starts to recover their economy as well. It gets them a nice CT economy building early. And we heard Golden on the desk how important the CT strong start is here for FNATIC. You see Crims get to that boost you mentioned in the mid-round, very effective, appealing away another kill. Roy doing great work, again continuing his solid performance earlier on today. Was an absolute specialist on this map. A big reason as to why FNATIC started to come back into the game in that second half when they got over to the CT side. And given the fact that we know that T side earlier wasn't great, well, we're going to have to see how many rounds they can pick up on the CT side. Given the fact they're playing Heroic, who have a very lively, living organism of a defensive side, you want as many CT rounds as you possibly can get here if you're FNATIC. Not a lot of utility here for Heroic in this round, but they have got rifles out.
Yeah, kind of links back into what we were saying earlier, right? Heroic are very keen to just bring guns into play, and if that means you got to sacrifice a bit of util, you don't have enough to like throw these kind of avant-garde fakes or like big grandiose strategy into the round, that's all well and good. I think Kane's very much kind of a believer that if something's done right, it should work anyway, and that's what they're looking to do here, grouping up over towards long. They throw themselves into an early fight, and it goes even 4v4. Refresh working this monster push, but is blindsided by Forest. And I mean, even if he got him, there was a really nice double setup employed there for FNATIC, so the trade was pretty much guaranteed. Mezzy doesn't know it yet, but Stown is right here, and he's not able to adjust in time. So that's the opener in towards this A site. Now the hit is looking to come through.
But below 30 seconds, Stown rips apart Roy. A little peek out, and that's his death sentence. Crims under pressure. They continue to push forward here. Heroic closing the ground down, and the smokes are up. The force field keeping FNATIC at bay for the time being. And the plant is locked in. Forest. Oh, they check back. Long could have potentially been a strength, but ends up being a weakness. And Crims is forcibly removed from the round as well. Big round there to find for Heroic, staying competitive back and forth in these initial rounds on the board, not allowing FNATIC to build too much. The pick from Stown. Impact found again. Stown is really, I mentioned this yesterday on the desk, he's really becoming an elite tier player. You know, he's really getting into the cream of the crop of the Counter-Strike world. There's a reason Heroic are always a team you either call a dark horse or a contender at events with top teams, because they just have so much firepower, and Stown is at the forefront of that. The Pro League had numbers similar to that of the top rated players. You want to see consistency though out of Stown. If he can get there, then it would be fantastic to see this Heroic side time and time again. But it's quick to be here, Harry.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, the hold's looking really clean for FNATIC. They've dealt with these first 2 components that were kind of trying to spearhead the push. And now it's all about just containing Heroic, leaving them trapped out towards Monster. You know, you can't win the round at Monster. They need more control here, and they can't get it. It's just a repeated onslaught of utility, supplemented by Forest fighting through it. And so FNATIC, they pull up with that round there. They put a stop to the B hit. And Forest, the guy who was like really quiet back on Mirage, has started to remember what winning feels like again. And he likes that feeling, don't he?
He does. That's why he stuck around for a long time. Just that hunt for that boost of winning drug. He's been losing quite a bit, unfortunately, over the last few years for Forest, but imagine if he's able to take down Heroic today with FNATIC. Now that will be incredible. What a storyline that could develop if FNATIC do compete here with Heroic
bro,
today.
this is about to just be an all-in monster rush, and these always make me so nervous. So often, you just get churned up, but the flash is good, and Crims is full blinded. Pistol was out. Oh my god, Forest gets caught swapping weapons. Ow. It's a double opener for Stown. Mezzy is desperately trying to regain control, desperately trying to regain some semblance of normality in this B site. But the round is already decided on the back of those 2 kills alone. FNATIC, they don't want to attempt this. It doesn't feel worth it. They're weighing up the pros and cons. And it feels like, you know, you could win it, sure. But if you don't and you attempt this round, you're broke. And that's a way back in for Heroic. They give them the respect here. They let this one slip on by.
You're right to be worried about that monster setup, but should have done a little bit more of that. FNATIC shouldn't have been that quick double from Stown, but as he was taking the first kill, he's seen the second opponent just fall in behind. He was able to react quick enough to take down both, and FNATIC have to weigh up the risk assessment. And that's a big save for the 2 rifles as well, and Heroic snapped into the round win. That's man Stown, we were just talking about him moments ago. Well, he makes the difference in this one, that little X factor. And FNATIC, like I said, you need to pick up as many CT rounds as possible, but this is another one gone. It's frustrating, but it's one you have to stomach. And we'll get Kita on the mic.
Weighing in with a few choice words.
On those, I love how nice he is about it. I'd be like, guys, why not ready on the B hit? It's a low bite. They could just rush B, but you know, it's a diplomatic way.
Yeah, you know, I kind of get the vibe that that's like one of those round wins where you go into it and you go, okay, they probably don't go back to B. You know, they just got mauled in like a full gun round trying to fast hit it. They probably don't go back to it because, like, even the way that FNATIC were positioned kind of lends itself to that idea, right? You had like a push through con. You had like 3 players leaning over towards A and mid. It was just a double B hold where they're trying to delay it with util if it were to be the B hit, and it was in that kind of lull of pulling utility that Heroic were able to find like the leg up and get all that success. So yeah, that one's gonna hurt if you're FNATIC, right? If you think back to Mirage, the whole 30-round affair could have been very, very different if they didn't lose to that full eco round right off the bat. In the kind of third of the conversions. Yeah. So, you know, these rounds do matter. They do matter a hell of a lot. And Heroic know that one round can make all the difference.
Well, we said Mezzy loves a bit of overpass. Well, earlier today, went 7-21, had a very quiet performance, and they lost the map. He's currently yet to frag on the server right now. 0-3 right now on Mezzy. Just letting him get involved at some point within these rounds, within the first 10, maybe get him feeling a bit more confident. Not really in the position to deal with early fights. He's playing towards Graffiti in this round. But it's Roy and Khan who's taking the first kill. Shush walks into the den. And Roy, just like Shelob, takes him out, wraps him up. She could do it, in fact. Schmeg ball.
Yeah, that's what Hugo believes the little goblin guy's called.
Definitely not his precious, but 50 seconds left in the timer as you head under the minute mark. FNATIC, triple setup inside of the B site, stronghold there for the time being, and even stronger out towards long. Nico does. Forces the life out of Testis. Refresh extends out Monster, but Forest claims his life. That's a non-starter for Heroic.
Yeah, no, mate. They tried to do something they like doing, which is where they kind of like launch an offensive on both sides of the map. They really are a team that you'll actually do it a fair bit, and it's, you know, it's kind of unusual in like the grand scheme of Counter-Strike meta, but Heroic have made it work a hell of a lot. You know, oftentimes they're winning at least one of those attempts, right? They're winning either over towards A, maybe they get an opener, maybe that jiggles the setup around down towards B, and then that only lends like more credit to what would have been that swing from Refresh, right? The idea is, as FNATIC start to jiggle the rotate around, he kind of catches them unawares, and suddenly you can create a lot of space there, but it isn't without its risks, you know, and you can sometimes just lose both fights, and exactly what happened.
Yeah, it just looks silly when it
exactly, yeah, it does look silly. It's like, you look at that and you go, well, no one had any support, no one could have done anything. If they do both lose, the round's over, and the round was over as soon as they both lose that fight. But it's like, more often than not, Heroic actually win, at a bare minimum one of those, normally both of them. So, yeah, you know, they're going back to, they're trying to do like what often works. But FNATIC have got answers this time. They're a lot more comfortable in these head-to-heads.
Yeah, and this is quick in terms of Heroic taking that water control. They're very speedy to position. Stavn gonna climb up on top, peering down into the B site. No one given the opportunity yet on top of this boost. Stavn will hold. Patience is the virtue, and Stavn is rewarded for it. Heroic now have the advantage to play with out of the T side. With a minute 10 seconds left on the clock, they don't even have to commit anywhere, but the numbers are significantly leaning towards this B site, which leads me to believe that play is about to come through rather soon.
Yeah, FNATIC, though, they remember what happened last time, right? They've already pulled a third player down here towards B. Now, he is starting to shuffle away. That smoking monster is at least going to buy you a little more time here. Heroic are content waiting, and they don't really have options anywhere else on the map, so they probably do just follow through with the B hit. This is where it starts to take shape. They're moving up the short side. They're getting ready at long. The Heaven Smoke's gone in, and now the hit is coming.
It's very quick up through short. 30 seconds. Crim's under play. A lot of fire coming his way, and Shushin will refresh a couple. Mezzi tries to hold, but he can't fight in two fronts, and that puts Roy into a position that just isn't winnable. He starts to realize all of his teammates are gone. They've been strung up by Heroic. And Roy is off to the save call. Good stuff from Stavn again. Just that multi-kill potential every time he goes into that B site. Heroic are starting to find a few weaknesses in terms of their explosive ability into this B site as a group.
Obviously, you know, we kind of seen a trend of like maps becoming a little like more CT-sided in the A1S meta. What would you say is like a healthy scoreline here for Heroic if you were to put a number on it? What's enough on the T side? Because, you know, folks at home might be looking at like 4-6. They might be thinking, okay, well, FNATIC are in a really good spot. They're up in the lead. They're building upon this. But is it that much of a simple story, Dinko?
Well, I don't think so, given the fact that FNATIC's T side earlier today wasn't great. And I think Heroic's CT side is very difficult to deal with. Like, Overpass is a map where you can play quite aggressive as a CT. You can try and find the gaps and force the issues. And we've seen how FNATIC struggled earlier today against the likes of Big. So for me, I look at this and I want 5 or 6 rounds, and I think Heroic are in a very, very good position. Any more than that, I think FNATIC are in a bad position.
Right.
So, yeah, it feels like Heroic are 1 or 2 rounds away from feeling good about their second half, and FNATIC 3 away from feeling terrible.
Man, I've had the absolute pleasure of watching and casting so much of Mezzi on Overpass. Usually, he is a star here, right? But it's clear that burdened with the IGL role, having to spend a lot of time, you know, looking at what everyone else is doing, it looks like it is kind of impacting his individual performance on this map. And you even note that, by the way, look at this timing that Stavn's hit. Like, this is insane. This is the round right here. You're watching it. This is a fit for Heroic. I mean, don't get me wrong. He could just die and get nothing done, or the backstab from Roy, like, you know, this battle of timings could be hit, but he's too late, and Stavn is too deep.
Yeah.
He is cutting off rotations as they're moving in. They didn't even know this was a possibility, and so the round is done. And I like that about Heroic, man. Similar to this idea of like trusting your teammates to hit both bomb sites at the same time. When Stavn there calls, I have a bit of a feeling, guys, I've gotten very deep down short. No one has seen me. I'm just going to full send it into A. You guys group and come meet me with the bomb. And they're willing to give him all the respect to make that play happen.
Yeah, we've seen a similar round in the Astralis versus Imperial game today where Astralis just kept pushing contact up through bathrooms. If you don't see anybody, you just keep going. You just keep going until you're so deep that you really can't lose the round, because you just cut off rotations that are running up the stairway. If you just let your teammates make first contact in the bathroom setup, then you're in such a good position now. And that's a free round for Heroic. It wasn't really even difficult.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, this is actually where this idea of like this FNATIC squad being so new, with Mezzi being so new to the IGL role, these are pieces that FNATIC won't really have the same level of access to, right? You know, if you're Mezzi and someone says to you like, yo, I might have found a timing here, I'm up in toilets right now, odds are he just goes for like the safer option, which is, okay, let's group them, we'll hit the A site together as a team. He doesn't necessarily have that like same understanding of, or trust is maybe the wrong word, but you know, like the same synergy with his team to recognize moments like that.
From reading Mezzi's interview though, it really felt like he wasn't like a hardcore IGL. It was more of a, he is the main voice. Yeah. But a lot of ideas get thrown his way.
A lot of people are like chipping in.
Yeah, right? And he makes the final decision on what idea he thinks best, what elements of each idea, and he's the guy who makes the final call. It's on him essentially to make that call, but you're going to get a lot of opportunities to hear a lot from the other teams. So I think that's essential for a guy who's never IGL before at this level.
I think it's really good versus maybe any opponent other than Heroic.
Yeah, it's really hard to play Heroic.
Their strength is in this this synergy of the team and how they believe in like Cadian's system and they play around his style. And so those conversations don't necessarily need to happen. Everyone already knows their responsibilities. Everyone already recognizes opportunities, and it kind of flows. Whereas, you know, that idea of the discussion maybe hamstrings you in terms of looking for like fast split-second decision making. You know, if down, it slowed down for, let's say, even like 5-6 seconds there, while him and Cadian have that back and forth of like, do I commit with the push? Do I keep going?
They have the killer instinct.
Exactly, right? They have that instinct. Yeah, 100%. So, okay, FNATIC, it's now a tie game. This is where they have to try and turn it all back in their favor. If Heroic go above them in the board, if they go off on a 7, FNATIC run out of money, Heroic are looking to win out the half. It's all spelling disaster for FNATIC's life here at the Pinnacle Cup Championship.
Well, the first fight will be Roy to go down. Shu shreds through him, and the first kill already in Heroic's hands. Oh, this is not the start FNATIC would have hoped for. With everything you put on the line there, Harry, it's just starting to feel very, very weak. Small note as well, it was very interesting to see in the timeout. Just sprung to mind the fact that Exist stats behind the Heroic side. Forest sits in the player's seat on the FNATIC side. Ex-teammates from the NIP days. Forest in this round holding strong. Down is down. Refresh falls as well. FNATIC staying in this one. And it's Forest that's lifting them out of the hole. They've got the advantage. Under a minute left. Cadian jiggles to try and find info, and he will find Forest. Head is gone. And now it's Nikodos into the 1v2, coming back down to the lower site. No kit, no utility, but everything on his shoulders.
Weight of the world here. Is he going to crumble under the pressure? Nikodos moving in, and right now Heroic, they are full set to just play around this bomb. It's set up for Cadian to win this in a clutch, right? If somehow Nikodos gets past this AWP, Cadian can play to time. That's assuming he manages to survive the crossing. It's not going to be easy, and Tessez swinging out from behind Pillar. It's in those little moments, it's in those little 2v1s, man, that Heroic really shine. They were set up in such a way that for Nikodos to win that would have required some like incredible individual effort. There was not going to be a misstep out of Heroic for you to capitalize on. He had to do it every step of the way, and with that not happening, it's now 4 in a row for the Heroic squad. The money broken for FNATIC. They are starting to run away with this T side, and that could spell disaster for this new look FNATIC squad.
Yeah, bring it back to the point I made a few rounds ago. The fact that, you know, you're looking at 5 or 6 for Heroic and you feel good, but 7, you're getting into territory where it's FNATIC's nightmare. You have so much more to do now on the T side, the side that you did nothing on earlier today. Roy trying to get them a miracle here, 5-7 into the double kill on the connector. A 2-man advantage picked up already for FNATIC. Heroic start to barrel back to B. This is the decisiveness. This is the killer instinct perhaps that Heroic have. The push through, letting Refresh try and gain this ground back. They know they still have the weaponry advantage. They have that superiority, but now they need the kills.
Yeah, Refresh at the front. Dispatching a Forest, was ready for a short side duel, but it doesn't matter. Mezzi holds the line, and with support from Nikodos, It will be a FNATIC round delivered. They put a stop to one of these B plays, and that's nice, man. That's actually a big win for FNATIC. They had next to nothing coming into that round, and on top of that, they maybe remove an element of the toolkit of a Heroic here, which is these fast B plays, these explosions that started this, cascade of round for the Heroic side.
And it's Roy in the initial play in the connector that gets a double kill with a 5-7. The net damage is good, softens up the first player. He's able to swing by, catches both of them. And that's the impact frag that gets in the round. If he gets traded even 1-for-1 there, likely still Heroic win the round. But Roy's doing good work. 12-5 right now. Down has opened things up though. Nico tries to fight early in towards mid, just loses his life. And now Roy locking down connector, more pressure on his shoulders once more. Try and pull one of those kills back if Heroic come his way, but they're avoiding him. Is there a change up in how FNATIC decide to play the defense? There's two players getting inside close to Monster in this crossfire. Might be quite difficult for Heroic if they try and come through Monster in this late round. Forest has decided to peek. Now that's ballsy and it's paid off.
That is an insane fight to take. Like, it's so easy for a T-side player to just nail your legs before you even see them. And Forest finds that perfect window. Oh, even more damage. Okay, on the reload, they might look to come through. There it is, there's the push. Krims didn't have his gun out, wasn't able to help. This B site is overwhelmed. FNATIC knocked out. They're dizzy. It's just Messi left standing. 1v4. A big ask of him here.
Yeah, it's not looking good here for Messi. Kadian creeping closer with a scope, and he will close. A fantastic half for Heroic. 8-7, 8 T-rounds on a CT-sided map in this meta. That is unbelievably solid from Heroic, and that is a nightmare for FNATIC now as they continue into the second half. They need a pistol, and they need everything after that. They need a fantastic start. FNATIC can't afford to get off to the slow starts we've seen in their half so far. They can't lose to the force spies. They can't lose to the pistols. They need to keep it clean, and they need to pick up the first gun round as alongside the pistol and the conversion. They need a lot here starting off this second half. They know the hard work begins, and this will be a true test so early on for Messi on the in-game leadership. You've got to deal with Heroic CT side. Well, they are ahead. This team is more dangerous when they're ahead because they take more risks. They feel emboldened by the fact that they've got rounds to play with. They will play a bit more risky and take a few more of those classic Heroic plays, and you've got to deal with that. Pistol begins. Some utility here for Messi. Everyone else on Kevlar for the T side. And look at this. Heroic already pushed through water, taking control, gathering info outside of B immediately. FNATIC are barreling alongside, but Testis is already holding for this, looking to delay.
Oh, that is a big dink, mate. That is going to force a lot of respect out of Testes over here towards A. He can't take these long fights anymore. He can't take these long duels.
The longer they take, though, FNATIC can try and go back down Con, but this flank from Shush, he could try and get in behind them if he starts to consider it, but they've actually dodged him. They have a window to get into an empty B site if they commit now, but it's just unlikely they make that call. They don't have enough info to do it.
Right? Like, Nikodos is getting pressured here in the toilets, and if it's his party player that ends up getting rid of him, they're going to know that B is now empty. Shush springs the trap, but that is a golden invitation, a golden ticket for FNATIC to go and take that B site. Messi is still in the toilets, still in the bathrooms, trying to disrupt these rotates. He's behind enemy lines right now, and in a spot that could look to win the whole damn round. Instead, Kadian gonna wait for him, gonna hang around for that push. It's a 5v3. Heroic have found all the glory so far. Now they've just got to stop this bomb from going off.
Coming back in, they're coming in quickly, and the kills will follow. It's just Roy, and he's towards Graffiti. So many Heroic players applying pressure to his position, and they ream him out. Kadian with the headshot. Defuse is being stuck around the corner, and with that pistol going Heroic's way, they are in pole position to knock FNATIC out here in Lund. Messi not a player to get flustered. He doesn't really have the personality to get they allow his emotions to get the better of him. He will stay composed, but...
I mean, yeah, I think it's actually like a very interesting, you know, like dichotomy between these teams, right? On the Heroic side, it's like super loud, super screechy. For FNATIC,
any other adjectives you got there, Harry? Ear-bleedingly loud.
Yeah. You know, for FNATIC, it's like very stoic. Like even outside of Mezzy, who else do you got? Well, you got Crims, like Mr. Calm, Forest. Like I don't, it doesn't even need an introduction as to how calm he is. And Roy and Nikados aren't like the loudest two either. This fight over in mid is super awkward, man. You've been spammed out. You don't have this control. You do have guys up con, but right now Heroic have got the bomb, and so the real challenge is just beginning, and nothing is landing. Oh no, Forest dead at long, and so Heroic up on a 10. Now a full eco for FNATIC. The lead is going to grow even greater for the Danes.
Yeah, buy your Heroic stock now. It feels like that's going to be going up, no problem here. Again, the expectations for FNATIC coming into this event, for me, pretty low in terms of, you know, how quick the roster is put together. Some of the teams here, their opening game. Didn't really expect FNATIC to be that competitive yet. You know, I look at this team and I think, okay, this is exciting for the future, but how is this going to click? You've just had so many different players and so many different teams all just coming together. This takes a long time to figure out. But this is, you know, obviously we talk about the honeymoon period. We got to actually get a little bit of context as to what that meant by Golden on the desk in terms of, oh, the comms, everybody's over-comming, everybody's hyped as hell to be together, and the comms are flowing. But FNATIC, I think, have performed beyond expectations. I think the best of 3 versus Heroic's probably a little step too far.
Yeah, you know, I think there's a reason why, like, there's few IGLs out there at the top level who are able to bring in, you know, like a stand-in, for example, and still perform, right? Obviously, the most recent one that kind of springs to mind would be Karrigan, right? And when you look at his, like, tenure as an IGL, he is so experienced, he is so knowledgeable, he is fully prepared in moments like that to, you know how and where to allocate those resources to make the new face feel comfortable. And it's like, for Mezzy right now, not only is he embarking on the journey of being new to the IGL role, but he's got a brand new roster. He's got Forest in here, who is like kind of this temporary fifth at the moment, who got kind of brought into the fold very, very late. So I think there's a hell of a lot on Mezzy's plate right now, and that's why, you know, you're getting these kind of low performance games out of him by his metrics, what we're used to seeing. And so I think, you know, looking at it like that, it's going to be down to these other 4 players on FNATIC to bridge that gap, right? To make life easier for Mezzy. If he's feeling like he's got to micromanage every single round, then you kind of have him off the board, and that's just how it's going to be. FNATIC need to turn it around, or else this is going to be very, very dire. Heroic will move up to 12, the money would be gone again, and so at that point they are sprinting towards the finish line. This is one of the few opportunities you're going to have to offer up some resistance on the FNATIC side.
Well, the Heroic get pushed through Monster already, so they've got a lot of control there. They also blew open the connector door and got info as to how many players were there, or just that there was significant numbers in position there early. So you see Heroic immediately rotate those extra players up towards A. Another boost over the sign. Tesses looking down into the bathroom. Hasn't seen anybody just yet, but his position, you've got to feel like it's strong enough for at least one. Flash is good, tucks his head down, should be coming back up, and this time takes away Forest. Advantage siding with Heroic. Tessis swings out again. He's even got some support, but he doesn't need it. Tessis taking 3, and everything is crumbling for FNATIC in this round until that point. Nikados with a double through the smoke, finally put in the ground by Tessis, who gets himself another 4K. He's on for the ace, he's on for all 5. And somehow, some way, we are at a 1 versus 2, which actually feels winnable for Crims.
Yeah, got to put a stop to a very warmed-up Tesses, though. 4 in the round and hungry for all 5. Tucked in at the dumpster, waiting as Crims looks to make his move. They have pincered him here. He's vulnerable to short. He's vulnerable to dumpster, but Crims... Oh, he's got it down to the 1v1. Got to go get the bomb.
Yes, a kill.
And in doing so, he's running into Refresh. Knife out as he runs to the site. There's the swing. Refresh has slowed him down enough, and that's the round right there. Heroic up on a 12. They don't even need to win all the fights. Just the tag was enough out of that guy. And so Refresh and Tesses, between the two of them, put that round on the board for Heroic.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Tesses. This 4K, just perfect. Gets up on the boost, able to come away with Forest. Second peek out, just lightning fast of the head of Mezzi. There's nothing you can do about that. And this is how it even got close. Nikodos just got this kind of lucky spam to the smoke, got 2 headshots, pulls it back into contention. Crim's close to it, unfortunately, not enough time. It's on his side, but Tesses now confident. This is what I mean. When you're so far ahead, you see these risks taken, you see these aggressive maneuvers come through from Heroic. And it makes it really difficult to play against when they're constantly pushing you or in behind you or getting the timings, the info. FNATIC taking water control, trying to settle into this round. Nikodos spotted.
There's actually a chance for FNATIC here. You know, they don't have a lot of utility, so the B play makes a lot of sense. You can just try to win this opening fight with a couple of well-placed flashes. As they look to move in, though, they've lost that first engagement, and so the momentum kind of seeps out of the B take. Nikodos over on short, does pepper them with one. Mezzi snuck out through Monster. It's in these late round moments that Mezzi can still find impact, right? He's not having to manage anything now, and so he is just focusing on himself and getting this space. He's good for the kill, and it's left to Cadian, who's swung again by Mezzi. Double dips in and puts a round on the board for FNATIC. They managed to come in with that one. It's a little bit pacier, it's a little bit faster.
And it didn't feel like they were going to win it at the start, right? It didn't feel like they had that one in the bag, but able to convert it. And maybe, just maybe, a bit of a lifeline. The first block being put down here.
You know, I want the folks to kind of cast their mind back to Mirage and what we saw from FNATIC's T side there. And one of the things that was problematic was this idea of it feels so tempting when you play Heroic to slow down, to wait for the aggression, to try and catch players pushing. But this has punished FNATIC. In that A hit, there was a lot of utility left because they didn't get enough of it out of the ranks of Heroic early on. And they were left pushing in like the final 30 seconds with smoke still in play.
But you also allow those aggressive maneuvers to become more potent because they've pushed forward. They've taken the map control somewhat.
So, you know, it's one of these things now where, like, FNATIC just won that round by kind of being a little more pacier, by taking control of short, and Monster are having very clear intentions to just run it into the B site. And I kind of hope we see that reflect in how these next few rounds go. Let's see if we catch a bit of a different T side vibe to what we did on Mirage. FNATIC are grouping outside of B again, and their window for like the perfect hit has just kind of eluded them, really. Heroic actually deep pushed over towards long and mid, and they got the info that no one was there. So they start to scramble these bodies back down to B, and with the man advantage, Heroic can now just play retake in the 5v4.
Oh, big kill from Cadian. That could be a difference maker in this hole for FNATIC. They thought that was their chance. If Nikodos takes down Cadian, if he tries to stop the attack forward into the retake, well, maybe, just maybe, FNATIC would have been able to hold on, but now they have to look to Roy, and he's done very well to get one. Mezzi stepping up alongside of him, and they're finding the crucial kills to keep this one afloat. Suddenly they look back towards short, and Heroic's significant player advantage is now dwindled just down to 2 players, and it's still toppling. Mezzi and Roy pull it off together. FNATIC with a 9th. That's an essential round, and a little pat on the shoulder of appreciation from Kita as Mezzi finally gets into the game.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really think that's going to be a bit of a common trend on this T side as the numbers dwindle, as it is just Mezzi responsible for holding one position, one angle, and having to win those fights. I think that's where you're going to get the most mileage out of him. It kind of looks like, you know, like when he was throwing into having to anchor down bomb sites while we're in like 5v5s in that first half. Sometimes he would be overwhelmed. Sometimes it would feel like he was caught looking, you know, at the mini-map, checking what's up, trying to give info. The kind of reaction speed just wasn't up to snuff with what we're used to out of this guy. But it's in these little like 2v4, 2v3 moments where he's only got one player fighting alongside him who clearly communicates their intent and what they're doing, that he just comes alive. He comes into his own. It's moments like that where you get, you know, vintage Mezzi shining through. And that's now 2 in a row for FNATIC. This is starting to give them a route back in as they've broken the money of Heroic. It means that this 3rd round, providing they don't lose to a full eco again, should be as good as done. Heroic have always got ideas for how they want to play rounds like this. Molotov into middle. And a full 5-man grouping. Cadian bought armor and a 5-7. You might wonder why. He wanted to get the molly to try and give this illusion that they could have peeked mid and also get the info as to whether or not FNATIC are there. And now they know they've slowed them down in middle. They start to take con. They hear all these footsteps. Heroic have got all the information, and that's what they were looking for. And yeah, we talk about mobile CT sides. Look at this.
They were just going on a little marathon together.
It's a convoy, mate.
Yeah. Secure. Little
hey,
security
Katie,
mission.
man, park up the RV.
We're moving on. Freedom. Minute 5 seconds left on this clock. They have actually raced their way to the A side because they thought FNATIC were actually going to go a bit quicker there to the A side, but they managed to get there on time, and all the traps have now been laid, all the little booby traps.
Oh, man, I don't want to see them lose to USPs again, but it is making me nervous. It's a slow walk into the A site, into a gimmicky boost with everyone else here ready to flood on in.
They could go back, but there is a risk to that as well. You don't really know if there's anybody in the connector, but eventually they should start to see the numbers. But the problem is Forrest is committing with a bomb, so he goes down. Maybe a bit of a problem here, but he has handled the first player well. Second, even better. Now gets taken out. Spine set up. It shouldn't be amounting to too much. FNATIC taking the kills, and yeah, it does get a little scary in terms of how many players were there. The first kill obviously going the way of Heroic doesn't help matters, but Forrest stands strong, gets the double. And from that point onwards, it's rather smooth sailing for FNATIC to take the round. But nothing was expected of Heroic coming into that one. We now expect Heroic to be purchasing out back into the buy again, and that's where they will continue to be competitive. Even think about the situation that FNATIC won in the gun round prior, right? That was a round they probably should have lost in the post plant. But we've seen Roy and Mezzi step up. Those kind of rounds aren't exactly replicable time and time again. You're going to need a little bit of a better system here to get them into favorable positions, and that doesn't help. You've gone down early. 30 HP on Roy, the utility. Luckily still standing. And Crimsel slink his way through into water control.
Yeah, it's kind of like a battle of, you know, a jack of all trades versus a master of their craft, right? Everyone's very much bought into the Cadian system for the Heroic side of things. Everyone knows their roles and responsibilities to a T. Whereas FNATIC is more loose, it is more free-flowing, and so now we're going to get that answer, you know, which is better. Crims opening up the round, an early 5v4. And considering the damage that was sustained by Roy and Mezzi, he'll take that all day long. Nikados is now trying to sweeten the deal, creeping up short with this AWP. Haven't really seen him take this AWP pick attempt. It's one that someone like Cadian actually is very fond of doing. So let's... Oh, no!
Hashtag
dude.
remove the train!
The train just ruined the strat. Mezzi, nothing's going right, bro. Oh, no.
But Molly barrels 3, 2, 1. Ah! Someone didn't check the train timetable, dude. 35 seconds. FNATIC at least still hold the man advantage, but that is irritating.
That molly would have got you a kill. It would have forced the barrel player out. It would have at least
Here comes the barrel player at least.
At a bare minimum, Shush does go running into his death right. And so that's given you this invitation into the B play.
Oh,
it's
refresh,
only refresh here. He is all alone. No one else can help him. He's got to do the heavy lifting. And with only one kill found, it's looking like a FNATIC round right here.
Yeah, no problem. FNATIC, initial... When they try to go, the molly hits off the train, you think it's a problem. You think it's starting to really capitulate. Are they going to be able to stay composed? But they find the crucial kills. Crims with the opening, finds the follow-up a little bit later in the round as well. Heroic, this CT side isn't clicking as well as I thought it was going to be. Couple of opportunities going awry now. This is great. FNATIC staying in the competition in terms of this map for the time being. I'm starting to love some of these calls from FNATIC. Losing down early for Heroic never helps, right? You're losing your sharpest tool in the shed. Most lethal asset.
I'm actually a big fan of this. I feel like we're watching almost like an evolution of FNATIC as the game goes on. It's like, as it's continued, Mezzi's kind of realized that maybe the greatest strength isn't by trying to go for what I would have considered some almost like Alex-esque calls, where you're kind of playing some smoke timings, you know, you're trying to like
I think you're going to see a lot of inspiration from the Alex way of calling.
So there definitely was early on, but like as this has continued, it feels like he's just putting a lot more faith in all these great entry players that he's surrounded with. He's even taking less opening fights, and I actually like that. You know, Mezzi used to be someone who was used to getting involved early, but I think for him, maybe the solution is having him be more of like a late round player. Give that credit to people like Forest, to Roy, maybe set Nikodos up if he gets like a really good spawn for some good pathing for a mid or com peak. It's all these little things that we're noticing that are creeping in more and more, and it's building actually a very, very strong foundation for FNATIC. I don't think you were ever going to beat Heroic on a tactical basis, but where you can look to get ahead is by sending in some of these stalwart entry players that you have and have them do what they do best.
Get
and
some
that's what we're getting.
action.
Exactly. Put Roy up against, someone like Stown right out of the gate. Get him out of the server early on.
SS.
Oh my God.
He did this a few times, but
He's
look at the timing.
threaded the needle, man.
He's right through the hole, isn't he? He's about to come around the backside. He's backtracking. He spotted one. Takes it immediately. Testis now focuses in towards the top mid. Good jump spot to see the other one at long. And Testis has gathered info and still standing. He poses a threat. And he's going to go and fight Roy down. Oh, Testis taking matters into his own hands. Nearly comes away with a triple. But that is an essential kill to come through for Nikodos. Forest now grabbing the gap, realizing he can push forward, catches Shush out of position. He could find another here as well. Jump spot comes through, Stown. Oh, so clean! Get tapped! Forest just wrecks Stown. Showing that, yeah, he's a youngster, but Forest has just tapped him. The old Reign Supreme in this round for the time being. Cadian and Refresh in a 2v3, 44 seconds left. FNATIC have the advantage, but it can quickly turn. They're going to have to try and play the percentages here, not to let this one slip away. And Forest has a shot to bring down Cadian, and that should be the kill. That should be it locked in. Refresh with just the dig. But he's on the right side of the map here, Harry. Maybe. Refresh is known to pull off some unthinkable moments. And here he goes again.
Oh my. Oh, Forest, thank goodness. Thank goodness he was there, locked, loaded, and ready to go. I don't know, man. I've seen Refresh win wilder rounds, I can tell you that much. But that one will sail on past Heroic. In spite of Tess's best efforts, he might have started it with that gnarly double, almost a triple, over towards long. But it's quickly forgotten about as Forest and the gang, they regain control.
Yeah, this is great from Forest, just a proactive play. When you bring someone like Forest into the team, you're going to get someone who isn't going to be scared to try and win you or lose you around, right? That's the thing. I think it was very similar with Snacks when he played with N-Silver in Dallas. When you have these experienced players, they just won't feel scared to go and take a play, to take responsibility in a round. With some teams, you get the stand and it's a little more inexperienced. They're too scared to lose you the round. They feel like the responsibility is on their shoulders. But Forest, he's willing to make that play, realizing, okay, we've lost two essential pieces to the puzzle in this early round. He needs to make space, and he does. He finds it in towards the bathrooms. He pushes forward. He finds the impact. And the unfortunate thing again here for FNATIC is in this round, they've lost that first player, and it's Crims that's gone down. So they've got to play with the 5 versus 4 deficit. Heroic have the advantage with a minute left on the clock.
Still, it's good rooting here to try and make something of this round, right? They've dodged this triple A lean out of Heroic, but they're very, very slow to push the go button. And eventually Heroic decide, okay, we feel comfortable leaving Cadian here. Cadian sends the 2 guys that were with him down to reinforce the B hold. So a pick might actually be deceptive in nature here for FNATIC. They might assume they've got more room or more chances than they do in this B play. And these guys who are rotating down have also got utility that's now going in to slow down this exec. The man on short has to go ahead of the molly, and it all gets so awkward. They're forced to go, not on their own merit, not on their own terms, but by the utility of Heroic.
And now the damage that Testis got in the last round, it isn't really about the round win, but it's more about the economic implications that may come in this round after a loss like that, right? You don't even compete. You don't get the bomb down. You don't really even go back and forth. So you can see the buy is starting to get into its last legs. It is still a strong purchase here from FNATIC. You'll still have the AWP. You'll still have the 3 AKs. The Galil has to come into the hands of Mezzi, and that's the one weakness in terms of the rifles. But if they lose this round, they'll be down to the weaker buy, the upgraded pistols, and Heroic should be charging towards 15 rounds on the board. And that start is not what you like to see if you're a FNATIC fan. KD might just follow up on it as well here for Heroic. He's in a strong position.
It's problematic because they haven't had to contend with this yet, right? KDM was playing here last round, but they never saw him. They never learned about this AWP. So as they start to move in, often is the case that this first kill from the long AWP feels kind of free. You normally have to trade it. And so it's going to come down to FNATIC hitting this timing to split KD in the long toilets. He's going to have the shadow advantage as they move in through the mouth of the toilet.
Yeah,
and
I do love that.
Yeah.
Get my mouth all over the toilet. Cadian going through though, and Nika does. He's down and out. Heroic starting to send FNATIC to the bathrooms themselves, but Menzies fighting back. He will not be bullied. He stands up tall, but not for long. He gets slapped by the bigger guy, and Roy and Crims into the 2 versus 4. Down starting to make his way long, and will start to fight and isolate Roy, realizing he's likely there alone, and he feels himself to go for the fun 1v1 fight. So now it's just Crims. And you don't want to stay in the bathrooms alone. You know, hanging out in the bathrooms on your own is a bit weird. So Crims is out of that. 24 seconds left.
You only go to the bathroom with friends.
Yeah, bro, I go there with my friends. Hang out in the bathrooms with your friends. It's less weird.
Right, Crims, he doesn't have any mates. They're all gone. He's the last of a dying breed in this round. 1v4 and 10 seconds to play with. Tries his hand at the stick and Refresh swings on out. Dispatches of him. Don't even break a sweat there, do Heroic. And this is them surging ahead. The game might have been close. FNATIC might have been attempting another one of these comebacks. But at the end of the day, to the victor to go the spoils.
And the mouth of the toilet. But anyway, we have, of course, FNATIC being broken down to what is going to be an eco, right? We're looking at a couple of Ds, couple of maybe upgraded pistols coming through as the best thing to talk about here for FNATIC. But that means they are conceding this. They are allowing Heroic to go to 15 without much of a contest, which means FNATIC feel like they have to play for overtime. And overtime, that doesn't seem like a million miles away, right? That still feels like a possibility if FNATIC get a good buy into this next round. Nothing coming their way. Heroic this time should be aware of the economic situation on the FNATIC side. They want to just sit back, allow FNATIC some space to work with, but you don't want to go and push and give away one of these solo fights, give away a rifle, give away a better gun to allow FNATIC into the round. So it's much more patient from the Heroic side, but still lively, still rotating a couple of players in and out of the B site. We're under a minute already here, and the first step up is Forrest, first to the death, as Tessus just knocks him down off the flower bed.
Yeah, not the start you wanted in a little eco round like this. If you get the first, maybe it spirals, maybe it gets wild, but with it going against you and with Heroic padding out this A bomb site, the chances of doing much here are pretty slim. This should be Heroic onto 15. Okay, maybe that's going to give you a little bit more breathing room here.
I got an AK out of that as well, so Roy has that to play with, but you still look at the time. 25 seconds, they have to maneuver their way towards the site, and in doing so... I was going to say, you had a player you had to worry about in the form of Stown, but you've got rid of him, and now Heroic start to panic. They start to drop back. Tessus' position should be enough to just clothesline them, and he will absolutely ensure the round win for Heroic, but it gets a little worrying towards the end there. Heroic take it nonetheless, and that does put them up to 15 rounds, one away from knocking FNATIC out here.
Yeah, I think it's funny, like you kind of see the very different philosophy in how to play those rounds between these teams, right? FNATIC have tried to go pretty slow in a lot of their eco rounds, try to go for like a late hit once the utilities burn through, whereas Heroic are not afraid to just group as 5 and fight you early in those eco rounds, so that then when they get into those like 2v4s with a gun, they've got more time. They don't have that pressure to quickly assault a bomb site. FNATIC didn't have that. They had to commit to A, and so that round falls apart for them. Last chance saloon for FNATIC. It's do or die, elimination, or a battle into overtime and then running it back again. Cadian's waiting in the divider. He knows they're up close, but he will be caught by Nikados. Roy follows up with another. It's the Danes doing it all. The Copenhagen Falmez graduates coming in with 2 kills, and it's opened up a route into the round.
It looks like it is the round. Heroic are so far away. They conceded this one, and that's going to be FNATIC. That's the most important one to it. Obviously, you lose this, you're down, but it keeps the guns in their hands going into this next round as well. keeping it clean. If you hemorrhage a few players here and you still win the round, you're going to have some economic troubles. You're going to have some weaker weapons. But this is FNATIC keeping the round clean and picking it up. So they're going to have plenty of utility. They're going to have all the premium weapons. They're going to have a double up setup as it stands on the T side. Now, I don't know if you're going to want the double up setup on the T side of play, especially because a couple of these quicker rounds have been working for FNATIC. The double up setup will slow you down. And you don't really... There we go. Thank God for that. Crims will pick up the AK. Momentarily held the AWP, but this is FNATIC now on their march to overtime. First step of the next few, 2 more rounds, and an overtime is possible. Just remember, cast your mind back to Mirage. We thought overtime was coming through. We thought it was about to happen. Heroic broke their hearts. But FNATIC showing us that this brand new roster, with all these role changes, all these team changes, are able to go toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the world to make them sweat right now. This is impressive.
Yeah, you know, I mean, from 15-6 to a full 30-round game on Mirage, and on this one, it's far closer margins. FNATIC are trying to launch another one of these comebacks. And return to a bit of a slower round here. Heroic, they do like to double push Monster on smoke fades. It's a good way that they know when to get information early. With them losing Tesses over here on A, these guys outside of Monster might actually start to feel a bit of pressure to get involved. Hang on, that smoke hit was heard.
Oh,
now
no.
Heroic, no, that smoke made contact, and so they're ready for the Monster push. Refresh and Shush have lit them up. The bomb is out in no man's land. There's under a minute left. And FNATIC, now a man down with no bomb, need to play into this one. They need to get into that B site before they can even think about getting this bomb planted. This is not how they wanted it to go. And it all started with a fleshy smoke sound effect.
Weather, as we established yesterday, but 35 seconds. That might just be all that is left for FNATIC here in Lund. Nico Dawes holds, no mistake coming. Eventually, FNATIC need to make the play. Eventually, they need to leap towards that bomb. The time isn't getting any easier. You aren't getting more of it to play with. 20 seconds. FNATIC have to go. If they don't go now, it is done on time. They want to at least fight for their chance, but it's not going well. Roy is down. Down and Schuss will close it. And there it is for Heroic. They will take their 2-0 victory over the FNATIC side. What a run from FNATIC, though. In terms of their opening tournament, that's an impressive start.
100%, man. Heroic, they were supposed to win this match. They weren't even supposed to be in this match, and they do manage to close it out. They show good grit in doing so, and they're on their way to the playoffs. For FNATIC, I don't think you can be dismayed. I think you've got to give them credit here. As you say, for their first tournament as this squad, it certainly shows a lot of promise that they're able to push Heroic, a championship-level team, to their very, very limits. That's all from FNATIC here in Lund, but Heroic will keep on coming. We're going to throw this one over to the desk, and they'll break this all down for us. Parla, take it away.
Thank you so much, Harry and Dinko, for that fantastic cast over what was a very interesting match of Counter-Strike. As Harry said himself, Heroic was supposed to win this best of 3. All jokes aside, or bias aside from myself and Golden, look, all of us in the building thought Heroic were the true favourites. But nonetheless, this FNATIC roster, with 2 new players and Forest standing in, were able to take Mirage to 16-14 and FNATIC to Overpass to 16-13. That's a great result.
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, they showed some really good resilience and how they kind of want to play in the future. And you seeing Roy being in that